The twin moons of Solara glowed softly over the colony, casting silver and pale blue light on the sleek, domed buildings. From the surface of the planet below, the moons seemed almost alive, moving slowly in the sky like silent watchers. The colony was quiet in the early hours, except for the gentle hum of the energy grids that kept life alive inside the domes. A small shuttle descended from the sky, leaving a trail of pale light behind it. Inside, Terran, a young engineer with sharp eyes and a curious mind, stared out the window. He had traveled across the stars to reach Solara, eager to help maintain the colony's energy systems. His heart beat fast with excitement and a hint of nervousness. This would be his first real assignment away from his home world, and he hoped he could prove himself useful. When the shuttle landed, a team of colonists greeted him. Among them was Mira, a young botanist who tended to the biodomes. Her hair shimmered faintly under the moonlight, and her green eyes held a quiet intensity. Taran noticed her immediately, though he quickly looked away, feeling slightly embarrassed. Mira smiled politely, though she seemed more interested in the plants she was carrying than in greeting new arrivals. "Welcome to Solara," one of the colony leaders said. "We hope your skills will help us manage the energy grids. The moons have been restless lately, and we need careful attention to prevent disruptions." Taran nodded. "I will do my best," he replied. His voice was steady, but inside he felt a mix of excitement and worry. He had read reports of the strange lunar storms that occasionally swept across Solara, disrupting power and sometimes causing minor damage. He hoped he would be ready if such a storm arrived. After a brief tour of the colony, Taran was assigned to the main energy station. It was a large silver building filled with humming machines and glowing panels. He immediately felt at home among the tools and gadgets. As he began to check the systems, he noticed the soft light of the moons filtering through a window. Something about their glow made him pause. He wondered what secrets they held beneath their smooth surfaces. Later, he wandered toward the biodomes, curious about the plants that helped sustain life in the colony. That was when he saw Mira again. She was carefully tending to a row of glowing plants that seemed to respond to her touch. She noticed him and gave a small nod. "Hello," Taran said. "I'm Taran. I just arrived today." "I know," Mira replied softly. "I'm Mira. I help maintain the biodomes. The plants keep the colony alive, so it's important to take care of them." Taran smiled. "They seem incredible. Do they really glow like that naturally?" Mira nodded. "They absorb the light from the moons. It helps them grow even when sunlight is weak." She looked at him for a moment. "I hope you find Solara interesting. It can be peaceful, but the moons are unpredictable. Sometimes they bring beauty. Other times, trouble." Taran raised an eyebrow. "Trouble?" Mira hesitated, then shook her head. "Just old stories. Nothing to worry about. Usually." The two of them spent a few quiet moments observing the plants. Taran was fascinated not only by the glowing leaves but also by Mira's gentle care. She moved with patience, her hands never harming a single leaf. There was something calm and strong about her, something that made him feel at ease despite being far from home. Suddenly, a faint rumble shook the ground beneath them. Both of them looked up, startled. Outside, the twin moons glimmered brighter than before, casting long shadows across the colony. A small storm of sparkling dust and energy swirled in the distance, though it seemed harmless for now. Taran felt a thrill of curiosity mixed with caution. He had seen patterns like this in his studies, unusual energy surges beneath the moons. Something was happening beneath Solara's surface, and he sensed it would not stay quiet for long. Mira followed his gaze. "The moons. They're restless tonight," she whispered. "Sometimes they remind us that we are small in the universe." Taran nodded, feeling a connection he could not explain. Somehow the moons, the colony, and Mira all felt linked in a strange, quiet way. As the two returned to their separate tasks, Taran felt a spark of determination. He had come to Solara to work, but he now understood that his curiosity might take him further than he expected. Something beneath the moons was stirring, and he had a feeling that Mira would be by his side when that mystery began to unfold. Above, the twin moons continued to shine, watching silently over the colony, as if aware that a new chapter was beginning beneath their calm light. The next morning, Solara glowed softly under the twin moon's light, though faint shadows of the previous night's storm lingered. Taran worked quickly at the energy station, checking every system, adjusting circuits, and mapping the flow of power through the colony. He had learned quickly that even the smallest mistake could create problems, and he was determined to do everything right. Mira, meanwhile, moved through the biodomes, her hands brushing gently over glowing plants. Each leaf seemed to respond to her touch, brightening slightly as if greeting her. The moon's energy affected the plants in ways no one completely understood, and Mira loved the quiet challenge of keeping them healthy. A sudden alarm rang through the colony. Taran's heart jumped. He ran toward the biodomes where a group of colonists were gathering near one of the smaller structures. Mira was already there, her expression serious. "What is it?" Taran asked. "A small storm is approaching," a colonist said. "It's unusual for this time of the cycle. We need to protect the domes from the wind and energy fluctuations." Taran glanced at the sky. The moons shone brighter than normal, their light shimmering over clouds of sparkling lunar dust. Taran and Mira exchanged a quick glance, a silent agreement passing between them. They would work together. Inside the dome, Mira guided Taran through the delicate systems that monitored the plants' energy levels. "These plants are sensitive," she said. "Even small fluctuations can harm them. We need to stabilize the environment quickly." Taran nodded. "I can adjust the energy shields and balance the power grids. If we work together, we can protect everything." For the next hour, the two worked side by side. Taran focused on the energy systems, rerouting power where needed and making small repairs, while Mira carefully adjusted the humidity and light levels in the domes. Occasionally, their hands brushed as they passed tools or activated panels. Each touch sent a small, unexpected thrill through both of them. "Careful with that panel," Mira said, pointing to a glowing control. "It regulates the dome's main light. A mistake could dim all the plants at once." "I've got it," Taran replied, smiling slightly. "Thanks for trusting me." Mira looked at him for a moment, her green eyes softening. "I do trust you," she said quietly. Outside, the storm began to stir. Small flares of energy danced across the sky, making the moon's glow even brighter. Taran noticed strange patterns in the clouds, almost like they were moving with a purpose. His curiosity stirred. Something beneath the moons was affecting the storms, and he felt a pull to understand it. "Mira," he said, lowering his voice, "have you noticed the way the storms move? They aren't random. There's a pattern. Something beneath the moons is causing this." Mira's brow furrowed. "You think it's the energy we read about in old colony reports?" "Maybe," Taran said. "I need to study it. I think it could be important not just for the colony, but for understanding the moons themselves." Mira nodded slowly. "I'll help, but we must be careful. The legends warn of the fury beneath the moons. People say it awakens when disturbed." Taran felt a shiver of excitement and caution. "I will be careful," he promised. "But I can't ignore it. There's something there." The storm's first gusts shook the dome. Dust and energy sparks swirled outside, casting eerie shadows across the interior. Taran and Mira worked quickly to stabilize the systems, their movements synchronized without speaking much. In moments of crisis, they discovered a rhythm together, a silent teamwork that strengthened their growing connection. When the storm finally passed, the dome was intact and the plants glowed more brightly than before. Both of them leaned against a railing, breathing heavily but smiling. "You handled yourself well," Mira said softly. "Even under pressure, you stayed focused." "And you," Taran replied, "kept the plants safe." "I don't think we could have done it alone." They looked out at the moons, now calm in the sky. The soft glow reflected in their eyes, and for a moment words were unnecessary. The shared experience had created a quiet bond between them. But Taran couldn't ignore the nagging thought in his mind. The storm had been unusual, more powerful than normal. Something beneath the moons was waking, and he knew this was only the beginning. He had a feeling that his curiosity, and perhaps Mira's too, would lead them into a mystery far larger than either of them expected. As the colonists resumed their work and repaired the minor damages, Taran and Mira lingered near the dome's edge, quietly planning their next steps. The twin moons shone softly above as if watching them, aware that two curious hearts were beginning a journey together, one that would take them far beneath the moon's calm surface and into the secrets hidden there. And beneath that calm, the energy that had caused the storm pulsed quietly, waiting for the right moment to awaken fully. The morning after the storm, Solara was quiet again. The twin moons shone calmly over the colony, their soft light reflecting off the domes and casting long, gentle shadows. Taran returned to the energy station, but his mind kept drifting back to the strange storm and the unusual patterns he had noticed in the energy surges. Something beneath Solara was active, and he was determined to understand it. While checking the external grids near the edge of the colony, Taran noticed a narrow passage between two hills that he hadn't explored before. A faint glow seemed to come from the ground, shimmering under the moon's light. Curiosity sparked, he decided to investigate. He knew the area was safe enough, at least from a surface perspective, and he promised himself he would be careful. Carrying a small toolkit and a portable light, Taran carefully made his way through the rocky path. The glow grew stronger as he approached, revealing a smooth, dark surface embedded in the ground. It was unlike any rock or mineral he had ever seen. A strange energy seemed to pulse faintly beneath it, almost like the heartbeat of the planet itself. This must be connected to the storms, he whispered to himself. I need to study it carefully. Taran tapped a panel on his toolkit, sending a small probe into the ground. The readings immediately spiked with unusual energy. His eyes widened. This was no ordinary underground feature. It seemed almost alive, reacting to his presence. He took careful notes, knowing that he would need Mira's help to understand it fully. When he returned to the colony, Mira was tending to the plants in one of the larger biodomes. Taran approached her, excitement clear on his face. Mira, he said, I think I've found something. Beneath the surface, there's a hidden cavern and it's full of energy. It might even be connected to the storms. Mira paused, her hand stilling over a glowing leaf. Beneath the moons? You mean the old legends? I don't know, Taran admitted, but I need your expertise. The energy could affect the colony if it becomes unstable, and I can't figure it out alone. Mira studied him for a long moment. The curiosity in his eyes reminded her of why she loved science. All right, she said quietly. We'll go together, but we need to be careful. The legends say that anyone who disturbs the energy may face unexpected reactions. Taran nodded. I will be cautious. But we need to understand it before it becomes a real problem. Later that day, they prepared for the expedition. Mira brought sensors to measure energy flows and environmental conditions, while Taran carried portable lights and stabilization tools. Together, they set out toward the glowing passage. The twin moons cast pale light over their path, making the rocky terrain look almost magical. As they reached the hidden cavern, they both stopped for a moment. The entrance was wide and dark, with faint light pulsing from deep within. Taran felt a thrill run through him. It's incredible, he whispered. Mira nodded, her voice steady. And we have to be careful. We don't know what's waiting inside. They entered the cavern slowly, their lights revealing walls that shimmered with energy. The glow seemed to react to their presence, brightening as they moved deeper. Taran's probe readings confirmed that the energy was powerful but stable. For now. This energy, it's unlike anything I've ever seen, Taran said. It might be the source of the storms. If we can understand it, we can protect the colony. Mira nodded, studying the walls. And it could explain why the plants respond so strongly to the moons. Perhaps the energy interacts with life itself. As they explored, they discovered a small chamber where the energy pulsed even stronger. Taran placed his hand near a glowing surface and felt a warm vibration run through his fingertips. Mira watched closely, amazed. It's almost alive, she whispered. Taran looked at her, eyes wide. Do you feel that? It's like it's trying to communicate or at least respond to us. Mira nodded slowly. This is why the legends exist. The fury beneath the moons. It's not just a story. There is something powerful here and we need to respect it. They spent hours taking measurements, recording the energy patterns, and discussing their findings. The initial thrill of discovery grew into a cautious respect for the force that pulsed beneath the moons. And through it all, Taran and Mira found themselves working closely, their trust and understanding of each other deepening with every shared observation. As they finally left the cavern, the twin moons shone brightly above, casting calm light on the colony. Taran felt a mixture of excitement and caution. He knew the energy beneath Solara held secrets that could change everything. And he knew that with Mira by his side, he was ready to face whatever mysteries the moons had hidden beneath their serene glow. But even as they returned to their daily tasks, a faint pulse of energy seemed to follow them, a reminder that the fury beneath the moons was only beginning to awaken. The days after the discovery of the hidden cavern passed quietly, though a subtle tension lingered in the air. The twin moons glowed gently over Solara, but Taran noticed small, irregular shifts in the energy grids. Minor tremors occasionally shook the colony, barely enough to rattle loose tools or sway the glowing plants in the biodomes. Yet the colonists went about their tasks with little concern, trusting that life on Solara would continue as usual. Terran could not ignore the signs. He spent hours at the energy station, analyzing the readings from the grids and from the cavern. Each time he compared them, he saw a growing connection between the underground energy and the tremors on the surface. "Mira," he said during one visit to the biodomes, "the energy beneath the moons is stronger than we thought. The tremors are increasing and the grids might not handle a full surge." Mira frowned, adjusting the light levels for a group of sensitive plants. "Then we must warn the others. If the energy becomes unstable, it could damage the domes." "Or worse," Terran nodded, grateful for her caution. "I've been tracking it. I think I can stabilize the grids for now, but we need to plan ahead. I want to study the cavern again, but carefully." Mira agreed. "I'll help you, but we must prepare for surprises. We don't know what this energy can do if provoked." That evening, a sudden tremor shook the colony more strongly than before. Lights flickered in the domes and the plants swayed dangerously. Terran rushed to the energy station, checking panels and rerouting power to prevent overload. Mira followed, helping him adjust the environmental controls in the domes. "Keep the grid steady," she said, her hands moving quickly over the glowing panels. "I'll manage the domes." "We can do this." The tremor ended as suddenly as it began, leaving the colony quiet once more. Both of them leaned against a console, breathing heavily, yet smiling at each other. The shared effort had strengthened their connection. "You were amazing," Terran said. "I don't think I could have managed without you." Mira smiled softly. "And you kept calm even when the grids went haywire. I'm glad we work well together." But their relief was short-lived. Over the next few days, the tremors grew more frequent. Small cracks appeared in walls and pathways. Tools fell from shelves and minor leaks appeared in water conduits. The colonists started to worry, though no one yet understood the cause. Terran and Mira decided to investigate. They returned to the cavern entrance, this time with extra equipment. Mira carried energy sensors and environmental monitors, while Terran brought tools to safely map and stabilize the underground energy. As they entered the cavern, the glow inside seemed brighter, almost pulsing in rhythm with the tremors above. Terran placed a small device on the cavern floor that measured the energy flow. The readings immediately spiked. "It's stronger than before," Terran said, his voice tense. "And it's moving. The energy seems to be spreading." Mira studied the data carefully. "We need to act fast. If it reaches the surface unchecked, it could damage the colony. But how do we stabilize it without provoking it further?" Terran paused, thinking. "We'll need to channel the energy carefully, guide it back into the cavern's natural patterns. I can adjust the grids to absorb some of it, but it will take precision." "And teamwork," Mira nodded. "Then let's do it together. I trust you." For the next several hours, they worked side by side in the cavern. Terran guided energy flows, adjusting conduits and panels, while Mira monitored the environment, ensuring that every adjustment did not harm the delicate balance of the cavern's energy. Occasionally, their hands brushed as they passed tools or touched controls. Each time, a small spark of warmth passed between them, though neither spoke of it aloud. Finally, the readings stabilized. The glow of the cavern softened to a calm shimmer, and the tremors above ceased. Both of them exhaled, leaning against the wall, exhausted but relieved. "You did it," Mira said softly, her eyes meeting his. "We did it," Terran smiled, feeling a quiet pride. "Yes, together." They left the cavern slowly, carrying their equipment back to the colony. The twin moons shone calmly above, reflecting on the domes and walls that had weathered another challenge. The colonists were beginning to notice that the tremors had stopped, and their trust in Terran and Mira grew. As they walked back, Mira glanced at Terran. "Do you think the energy beneath the moons will remain calm now?" Terran shook his head slightly, still thoughtful. "I don't know. It may be quiet for now, but something tells me it will not stay dormant forever. We need to be ready." Mira nodded, her hand brushing briefly against his. "Then we face it together." Terran smiled at the gesture, feeling a warmth he could not ignore. The colony had returned to a cautious calm. The tremors had stopped, but the energy beneath Solara pulsed quietly, almost like a heartbeat waiting to be noticed. Terran spent long hours at the energy station, studying the cavern's data, while Mira continued her work in the biodomes. tending to the glowing plants that responded subtly to the moon's pull. Yet neither could ignore the quiet thrill of curiosity that called them back to the hidden cavern. They had stabilized the energy for now, but Terran sensed that the source of the storms, something alive beneath the moons, was awakening. One evening, under the soft twin moons, Taran approached Mira. She was adjusting a row of luminous plants that glowed brighter as the moons reflected in their leaves. "Mira," he began, "I think it's time we study the cavern again. The energy might be stronger than before, and we need to understand it fully." Mira looked at him, a mixture of caution and excitement in her eyes. "I was thinking the same. We can't ignore it. But this time, we go prepared for anything." They gathered their tools, energy sensors, and portable lights. Together, they made their way to the cavern. The twin moons cast calm silver light across the rocky terrain, and the air was still. As they approached the cavern, the glow from within pulsed gently, almost as if the energy knew they were coming. Inside, the cavern's walls shimmered more brightly than ever before. The energy seemed alive, flowing like liquid light, dancing along the walls and ceiling. Terran's sensors spiked repeatedly, confirming that the force was immense. "This is incredible," Terran whispered, moving closer to the center of the cavern. "It's like the energy is aware of us." Mira stepped beside him, her hand brushing his briefly as she set up her monitoring devices. "It feels alive," she said softly, "and powerful. We need to be careful. One wrong step, and the energy could react unpredictably." For hours they observed and measured, recording patterns and testing ways to stabilize the flow. The energy pulsed in waves, responding subtly to the adjustments they made in the cavern. Terran realized that it was not just a force of nature. It was something that could almost communicate through its rhythm and light. As they worked together, the bond between them deepened. Mira's calm precision complemented Terran's technical skill, and their trust in each other grew stronger with every careful movement. Occasionally, their hands brushed while passing tools, and a quiet warmth passed between them, a small, unspoken connection that neither could ignore. At one point, the energy surged suddenly, creating a flash of light that reflected across the cavern. Mira steadied a panel while Terran redirected the energy flow. Their eyes met in that moment, and something passed silently between them. A shared understanding, a recognition of both the danger and the excitement. "We're ready for this," Terran said quietly, more to himself than to her. Mira nodded, placing a hand on his arm briefly. "Together," she said. "Whatever happens, we face it together." The energy pulsed again, brighter this time, and Terran carefully adjusted the flow using a combination of tools and his knowledge of the grids. Mira monitored the responses, guiding him with quiet confidence. Slowly, the waves of energy began to calm, settling into a steady rhythm that mirrored the moon's gentle pull. For a moment, the cavern was silent except for the soft hum of the energy. Terran and Mira stood side by side, catching their breath, marveling at the beauty and power around them. "You did it," Mira said softly. "We did it." "The energy." "It's calm now." Terran smiled, his eyes meeting hers. "Yes, together." In that quiet moment, they both felt something deeper than curiosity or adventure. The trust, the teamwork, the shared thrill of discovery. It had grown into something more. Without words, they understood that they cared for each other deeply, that their bond had strengthened through the challenges beneath the moons. As they left the cavern, the twin moons shone brightly above, casting calm reflections on the colony below. The soft glow reminded them of the energy they had stabilized and the mysteries that still awaited beneath the surface. Back in the colony, life continued, but Taran and Mira felt a quiet shift in their hearts. The first true test of the fury beneath the moons had passed, and with it came not only knowledge but a shared feeling that neither of them had expected, a tender connection forged in the heart of danger and wonder. Yet even as they rested, a subtle pulse of energy beneath Solara hinted that the awakening force was not finished. The moons remained calm for now, but the fury was still alive, waiting, and the next challenge would test not just their skills, but their courage and their hearts. The twin moons of Solara shone brightly over the colony, their calm glow reflecting off the domes and pathways. For a few days, everything had seemed peaceful. The energy beneath the moons had settled after Terran and Mira's careful work in the cavern, and the colony had resumed its daily routines. But deep beneath Solara, The fury was stirring again. Small tremors returned, more frequent this time, shaking walls and knocking tools to the ground. Lights flickered in the energy station, and some of the plants in the biodomes wilted slightly under the disruption. The colonists grew anxious, unsure of the cause. Terran watched the readings at the energy station, his brow furrowed. "The energy is becoming unstable again," he said to Mira, who had arrived with her sensors. "It's stronger this time, and the tremors are spreading faster." Mira studied the data carefully. "We need to act quickly. If it reaches full force, it could damage the colony. But we can handle it." "Together," Terran nodded. "We need a plan. We'll stabilize the cavern while adjusting the colony's grids to absorb some of the energy. It will require precision and coordination." The colonists gathered in the main hall as Terran explained the situation. Mira spoke alongside him, detailing how the energy could affect both the domes and the living areas. Everyone listened closely, their trust in the two young explorers evident. "Work together," Terran said. "Follow instructions carefully. We can guide the energy safely, but it will take teamwork," Mira added. "Stay calm. The energy is powerful, but we can manage it if we remain focused." With a deep breath, Terran and Mira led the colonists toward the cavern. The twin moons above reflected off the rocky terrain, their soft light guiding the team. Inside the cavern, the glow of the energy pulsed strongly, responding to the tremors that still shook the colony above. Terran immediately began adjusting conduits and grids, channeling the energy into stable flows. Mira moved carefully among the panels, monitoring every fluctuation and advising Terran on corrections. The energy responded to their efforts, but it pulsed violently at times, testing their skill and patience. A sudden surge created a bright flash that lit the cavern like daylight. Mira steadied a panel while Terran redirected power through additional conduits. Their hands touched briefly in the chaos, and for a moment, the fear of the energy's power was tempered by the warmth of connection between them. "Almost there," Terran said, his voice steady despite the tremors. "Keep monitoring the flows." Mira nodded. "We can do this, Terran. Together." As they worked, the colonists followed instructions carefully, adjusting external grids and supporting the stabilizing efforts. Terran realized how much trust and coordination mattered. Alone, the energy would have been uncontrollable. Together with Mira and the colonists, they had a chance. The energy pulsed again, stronger than before, and a low vibration traveled through the cavern floor. Terran adjusted the main conduit, while Mira guided the minor flows. Slowly, carefully, the surges began to stabilize. The glow softened, the vibrations lessened, and the twin moons reflected gently on the now calm cavern walls. Exhausted but relieved, Terran and Mira leaned against a wall for a moment, catching their breath. The colonists smiled, impressed by the teamwork and courage they had witnessed. "You did it," Mira said softly, her eyes meeting Terran's. "We did it. Together." Terran smiled, feeling a quiet pride. "Yes, together. I couldn't have done it without you." Their hands brushed again, lingering slightly longer this time. There was a silent acknowledgement of the bond that had grown stronger through shared danger and effort. For the first time, both of them felt that their connection was more than friendship. It was trust, admiration, and something tender and deep. Outside the cavern, the twin moons glowed calmly over the colony. The tremors had stopped, and the energy had returned to a steady rhythm. The colonists resumed their daily routines, grateful for the safety and stability that Terran and Mira had helped maintain. Terran turned to Mira as they walked back to the domes. "Do you think it's truly calm now?" Mira shook her head slightly. "I don't know. The energy beneath the moons is powerful, but we've learned how to work with it. And we'll be ready for the next time it awakens." Terran smiled, feeling warmth in her words. "Together," he said. "Yes," Mira replied, her voice soft. "Together." The twin moons reflected off the colony's domes, calm for now, but silently promising that the fury beneath the moon still pulsed, waiting. Terran and Mira had faced the challenge and grown closer for it, but they both knew that their journey was far from over. Whatever mysteries the moons held, they would face them side by side, united, brave, and ready for whatever came next. The twin moons of Solara hung low in the sky, their soft glow reflecting off the colony's domes. The air was calm, but beneath the surface the fury pulsed strongly. Taran and Mira had studied it for days, and though they had stabilized the energy before, they both knew that the moon's alignment tonight would test their courage more than ever. Taran checked the energy station one last time, ensuring that all grids were prepared to support the cavern. Mira entered, carrying her sensors and monitors, her green eyes reflecting both determination and concern. "It's time," Taran said quietly. "The alignment is almost complete. If we don't guide the energy carefully, it could surge uncontrollably." Mira nodded. "We've faced it together before. We can do this. I'll support you in every step." They led the team of colonists toward the cavern. The glow from inside pulsed more strongly than ever, and the walls seemed alive with energy. The tremors above had already started, small but noticeable. Taran felt a thrill mixed with tension. This was more than just science. This was courage, focus, and trust. Inside the cavern, the energy surged in brilliant waves, brighter and more powerful than before. Taran moved quickly to adjust the main conduit, stabilizing the flow while Mira carefully monitored the surrounding channels. The energy reacted to their efforts, but it pulsed violently, testing their limits. Suddenly, a surge threatened to overload the system. Lights flashed and the walls vibrated. Taran realized that the only way to stabilize it fully was to enter the core of the energy chamber and guide the main current manually. "I need to go in," Taran said firmly. "It's the only way to control it completely." Mira's eyes widened with concern. "It's dangerous. You could get hurt." Taran reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. "I have to do this. But I won't be alone. You're with me. Together we can manage it." Mira took a deep breath. "Okay, together." They approached the core, the energy pulsing around them like liquid light. Taran adjusted the conduits as Mira monitored the fluctuations. Step by step, they moved closer. The energy reacted to their presence, glowing brighter as though acknowledging their courage. Once at the center, Taran carefully placed his hands on the primary energy node. The power surged violently, but he focused, guiding the energy into a stable pattern. Mira stood beside him, directing minor flows and giving him precise instructions. Their teamwork was perfect, a combination of trust, skill, and mutual understanding. Minutes passed like hours. The energy pulsed, then gradually calmed, its violent bursts settling into a steady rhythm. Taran and Mira breathed heavily, sweat glistening on their foreheads, but relief shone in their eyes. They had done it. Mira reached out, placing a hand on Taran's arm. "We did it. It's stable now." Taran looked at her, a small smile forming. "Yes, and together. I couldn't have done it without you." In that quiet moment, they finally allowed themselves to acknowledge the bond that had grown stronger through danger. Their hands stayed together, fingers intertwined. The fear and tension melted into trust and something deeper, a connection neither of them could ignore. Outside the cavern, the tremors had stopped. The twin moons reflected calmly on the colony, their soft glow reassuring the colonists that the danger had passed. Word spread quickly, and the colonists cheered quietly for the bravery and skill of Taran and Mira. Back inside the cavern, Taran and Mira took a moment to rest, their hands still joined. "Do you think it will remain calm?" Mira asked softly. "I think so," Taran replied, his eyes on the steady glow of the energy node. "But we've learned that the moons and the energy beneath them are powerful. We must always be ready." Mira nodded, resting her head slightly on his shoulder. "Then we face it together, no matter what comes next." Taran felt warmth in her words, a sense of peace after the storm of adrenaline and fear. The first true challenge of the fury beneath the moons had been met, and they had not only survived but grown closer through it. As they left the cavern, the twin moons cast their calm glow over Solara. The colony was safe for now, the energy stabilized, and two young explorers had proven their courage. But even in the quiet, the soft pulse of energy beneath the moons hinted that more challenges awaited. Taran and Mira walked hand in hand back to the colony, ready to face whatever came next, their hearts full of trust, courage, and a growing affection that promised a future together beneath the calm light of the twin moons. The twin moons of Solara hung high and steady in the sky, casting soft silver and blue light across the colony. For the first time in weeks, the energy beneath the moons had settled completely. The tremors had stopped, the domes were intact, and the glowing plants thrived once more under Mira's careful care. Taran and Mira walked together along one of the colony's main paths, their hands brushing occasionally. The bond they had formed through shared danger had grown into something unspoken yet undeniable, The calm of the night mirrored the sense of relief in their hearts, yet also brought a quiet awareness that the moon still held mysteries. At the colony's central plaza, colonists were gathering. Lanterns glowed softly, reflecting off the smooth domes and metal surfaces. The mood was one of celebration and gratitude. Word had spread quickly about Taryn and Mira's courage in stabilizing the fury beneath the moons. Families and friends gathered to express their thanks. Taryn looked around, feeling both pride and humility. "We couldn't have done it alone," he said softly to Mira. Mira smiled, her green eyes shining. "No, we did it together. And it wasn't just us. The whole colony worked with us. That made all the difference." The colony leader stepped forward to address the group. "Thanks to the bravery and skill of Taryn and Mira, the colony is safe. Their courage reminds us all of the strength we have when we work together." The crowd cheered quietly, and Taryn felt a warmth that went beyond pride. It was a connection to the community he had only just joined. Mira squeezed his hand gently, a silent acknowledgement that they had shared something extraordinary. After the crowd dispersed, Taryn and Mira found a quiet spot near the edge of the colony, where the twin moons reflected off the smooth ground and painted the domes in silver light. The air was cool, and a soft breeze carried the scent of the glowing plants from the biodomes. Taryn turned to Mira. I want to tell you something," he said, his voice a little hesitant. Mira looked up at him, curiosity in her eyes. "What is it?" "I care for you," he said simply. "More than I expected, more than just as a partner in work or adventure. I think I love you." Mira's eyes widened, then softened with a gentle smile. "Taryn, I feel the same way. Through all of this, the storms, the energy, the work in the cavern, I realized I care for you too. I've grown to trust you, admire you, and love you." A warm silence settled between them. For a moment, the only sounds were the gentle hum of the colony's energy systems and the soft glow of the twin moons above. Taryn reached out and took Mira's hand, their fingers intertwining naturally. "Together," he said quietly. "Yes," Mira replied, smiling. "Together." They stood in that quiet space for a long time, watching the moons. The fury beneath the moons had been calmed, at least for now, but the experience had changed them. They had faced danger, uncertainty, and the unknown, and through it they had found courage, trust, and love. As they walked back toward the colony, the celebration continued in the plaza. Children played near the glowing plants, and adults shared stories of teamwork and bravery. Taryn and Mira moved together, smiling at each other and the world around them, knowing that they had not only saved their home but had discovered something even more precious, the bond between them. That night, as the twin moons cast their calm light across Solara, Taryn and Mira sat near the edge of one of the domes, holding hands and looking up at the sky. The fury beneath the moons was quiet, yet the soft pulse of energy seemed almost welcoming, as if acknowledging their courage and love. "We did it," Taryn whispered. "Yes," Mira said softly. "We did it. Together." And beneath the serene glow of the twin moons, the colony of Solara slept peacefully. The storms had passed, the energy had been tamed, and two hearts had found each other in the process. There were still mysteries in the depths beneath the moons, but Taryn and Mira knew they would face them side by side, with courage, trust, and love. The moons shone down silently, guardians of a quiet, brave world, and of a story that had begun with curiosity and danger but ended with hope, connection, and the promise of a future together.